Good morning everyone. We've got quite a fun day today. I've got some machinery being delivered at long last. So I'm getting a bandsaw and a planer thicknesser and an extractor as well. Not entirely sure where I'm putting the extractor yet, actually. Should probably work that out. But yeah, so it's going to be quite a fun day. And then I thought I would do a cheeky workshop tour, seeing as you haven't properly seen this space. Just heel kicked the workbench. That really hurt. So yeah. Let's see where the day goes. Let's go. Right, so we're all in. Planer thicknesser is over here, so this is going to be to the left-hand side of the camera. When you're watching my videos, it'll probably be cut out of shot, but it's there. And we've got the bandsaw here in this lovely cage looking thing, so be some nice wood for the wood burner. I don't actually have a crowbar to get this ploughed off, so I could use the Lee Nielsen chisels. That'd be great, wouldn't it? So many people cringed when I dropped this on the floor in my sharpening video on how to sharpen a chisel, so oh look, here we go. I'm not going to do that, don't worry. That's just being immature. So right, let's cut the cage off. I've just realised I've made a grave error. Normally, when we unpackage these, we cut the bottoms of them off first, and then you can just lift the cage up. I didn't consider the height of the workshop. I can't lift it. I am knackered after that. I proper went for it. So I'm going to need to cut this higher up as well. Oh. Oh, it's because that one's there. Oh, that should be the rip fence, and this is probably the cast iron table, I think. Ooh, big bags of silicone gel as well. Those are always handy. I may have hit the machine with the saw a bit there. Oh well. Ye old instruction manual should be in here. There we go. Oh, that's the old one. Yeah. Oh, hang on, no. So when these machines first came out, some of the instruction manuals were a little bit dodgy, to say the least. They had a few bad translations and things in them. It was basically the ones that came direct from the manufacturer. Obviously, these machines aren't made in England, they're made in Taiwan, I think. You obviously get a dodgy translation of the instruction manual as supplied by the manufacturer. But they have brought out new instruction manuals which are like, they actually make sense. So when we're building these in store, it is so much easier to actually follow the instruction when building the machine. So there we go. Big pictures, it's all easy to follow, it all makes sense. It's none of these like tacky instructions like warning, and you know, it's just nice and it just makes sense. So good, we have got those. So let's get the table on next. Oh, and that's some of the hand. Ooh, a free spanner as well. So table. Oh. It's like one big bogey. Right, so firstly we've got a levelling bolt that's going to go in here, so you can adjust this to make the table 90 degrees or not. So nice and simple to adjust. And the table can go on, so this goes on like that, twist it around, and it will rest on 4 thingies underneath. Now if you ding the blade with the cast iron table on here, don't worry too much, because the blade that's supplied with the machines isn't the best quality thing in the world. You pretty much want to replace it straight away. It's alright if you're not concerned about the finish or anything like that, or if you're just cutting up like firewood, you can use it as your disposable blade, but it's not going to be great for those like long, straight, clean cuts at the end of it. It's just there so that the bandsaw is complete when you get it. Don't need to do them too tight, just snug. There we go, that should all move lovely on there now. Nice, easy to adjust. The only thing I forgot to add is the little nut on the bottom of this. So now we're going to adjust the table to be square. So the nut goes on the bottom of this, and that is what's going to hold it in place and stop it from slipping over time. So that goes in there, and then what we're going to do is bring this down to hit that bolt. Right, so obviously that isn't square. So get the largest square you have, pop that on there, and then we'll just make any adjustments to that nut as needed. So what I'll do is get this pretty square, then I'll just give it a little nip up with the spanner as well. So now let's just check this works. So if I bring it out of the square, that's obviously like that, and then if I bring it down so it hits that stop, that should go on there. Spot on. Lovely. Okay, and then on the side here you've got this little like tab thing, and that just goes in there. Nothing too special about it, but what that does is it stops the tables from becoming misaligned over time, because you've got this cut in here and the metal may move a little bit over time. So having that jammed in there keeps them all completely aligned, and you're not going to have any sort of weird steps going on here. And it's not screwed in place or anything, you literally just remove it like that if you want to take the blade out and ping it back in. Right, so then inside this box I think is the table extension, which is going to go here. And bring it up so it's level, and then you can do the final tightening after that. Right, now for the fence on there. So these have recently been upgraded, so the locking of them is rock solid now. They are proper nice. Oh. So same as always, washer and bolt on both of those, and then just attach this to the front. One thing I like about this is how all the hardware is painted black, because it just kind of goes with the overall theme of the machine, rather than put some like shiny chrome fixings on there. Just a nice matte black. I don't know, it's a subtle thing, but I just think it looks pretty cool. So with these, the holes are elongated, so you can fine adjust this fence to suit where it is going to be on the blade. So I'll get them snugged up for now, but I won't properly tighten them. So it is held on there, but with a little bit of force, you can move it side to side. So I just got a little nut to go on this handle, and then that screws into the fence bracket here. And again, that nut is going to be tightened against the bracket to keep it in place, to stop it from coming out. So I'll leave a little bit of thread exposed so the handle's got a bit of length to it. Pop that on there, nip it up, and in doing so, it just fell on there. And then with this, we can line this up with the blade, so when it's touching, this should be on 0 on the front fence. You can then lock these in place. So just bear in mind, if you're using this fence without the rip fence on it, then you can use the scale at the front, but once you put the rip fence on it, you're going to be offsetting it a little bit, so it's not going to work. But in reality, I never really use that scale, so I'm just going to attach this anyway and probably keep it permanently fitted on there. The only thing I'll do is swap between having it like this or like this orientation. So we got this little thing here with a thread in it, and I've popped a washer onto this handle. So that can go through there, and you can get it tightened up on here a little bit, just so it holds itself in place, and then you can simply slide that onto it. And then if that handle gets in the way, you can simply push it out, spin it round to whatever position you want, and it locks itself in place. So then the mitre fence goes in, which is a very good fit in there, considering most mitre fences are pretty bad. And then on the top here, we've got a handle that needs attaching, so this is what adjusts the blade guard. So pop this on, make sure the grub screw is in alignment with that flat spot. Okay, and then should just be able to loosen that, and that moves the guard up and down very nicely. So I'll go through setting this up in a future video and how I get it with a nice straight cut on there, but now let's sort out the planer thicknesser. Now I've got some nice cheap plywood to use for something. So yeah, this has a segmented cutter on it, so instead of 3 straight knives, you've got lots of little ones on here, and it has a lot of benefits over the standard 3-knife block or 4-knife block, whatever you have. So I mean, I could leave this on the pallet to make it easier to move later on, but the working height's good, but I just can't quite get as close to it as I want to here. Should I leave it on there? I don't know, I feel like that's going to be a bit of a ball ache. I'd like to have my foot under here really when I'm, yeah. Okay. I can hear you all saying you shouldn't move a planer by its tables, but what other option do I have? Well, I mean, I could probably get proper lifting equipment, but... That's quite annoying. Oh, I've got a really dodgy patch of concrete behind there. What have they done there? Right, I'm going to have to shift this right back a bit then. I think it was where there used to be a wall here or something like that, and it's where, yeah, it's just a dodgy join. Right, I'm going to get the instructions for this one, because I haven't built one of these ones before, so this should be interesting. Right, firstly, attach the side guard. Right, on we go. Right, so then this goes into this threaded hole. Right, so now the back fence. So that'll go on like so. The base plate can go on like that. Okay, and then follow that with the old fence. So that's going to go on there. Right, and then for the guard, we've got a little plate here. That should just go underneath. Snap in place like that, so that stops any damage to the top of this from occurring when tightening this knob. Put that on there, tighten it down. And voila, that's in place. So then you can angle that head as well. So if you want to sort of tilt it forward towards you, or you want to tilt it away from you, you can do that with there. And on the bottom here, you can raise and lower the height of the cutter guard. Okay, and then just under here, you can attach some little handles to help raising and lowering the bed. My colleagues at Axminster will agree with me on this one when I say that I cannot build machines in a tidy manner. I always make it look like an absolute bomb site, even if I'm building one machine, like the smallest thing. Stuff just goes everywhere. I can't control it. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, they're both built, which is good. So now I've got all this wood that we can just throw in the wood burner or something like that. And yeah, let's tidy up the workshop. Right, so we are tidy. Hang on. We are now tidy, so let's have a workshop tour, shall we? Right, so here's the outside of the workshop. Sorry, we got the wood burner going at the moment, so it's quite noisy in here, but here you go, Ryket Wood Furniture. That's me. So, in here. So first thing you got is, hang on, a little bit less noisy now. So first thing we got, the wood pile of rubbish. So got various crap in here. Got some yew, got some walnut, got some oak, got some Rapallo lacewood, got some brown oak. Got my little bin of offcuts here, and then a scrap bin there of stuff that I'm just going to chuck in the wood burner. So yeah, that's my primary wood pile, and I plan to get through that in the next few months because I want to get into a habit of keeping on top of that. So working my way around. Got a fancy pull-up bar here, which my fat ass has managed to rip out the wall. I did try and glue the wall plugs in place with proper construction adhesive, but apparently I'm still too heavy, and I mean, the fixings were just terrible. I got them from B&Q, but yeah, you see, they've sort of come out there. On this side, they're all right. It's not too bad, but that side, not great. And the bottom hole, I didn't align very well, so we haven't got a bolt in there. But anyway, that's what I've got on the wall here, just next to my wood pile. So working around, I've got some little tripod marks on the floor here. So this is where the legs on my tripod would normally go in that little 70 70mm mark and a 70mm mark on there. So when the lens on my camera is set to 70mm, that is when you get this nice view that you're used to seeing in my videos. So working round from that, I've got a little radiator here because unfortunately the wood burner doesn't actually lead into this workshop, so it's not too warm in here all the time. Nice sharpening station, so I've got a water stone here, I've got my leather strop, and then I've got a flattening plate. And then I've got the old Toolmech from the Basingstoke Axminster store because they have recently upgraded to the Toolmech T8, which is a much nicer machine, but this, the T7, still works pretty well. Just got to do a few repairs on it because a heavy-handed employee managed to crack this. Yeah, he managed to crack it on the sides here. So like when you put too much pressure on it, the wheels kind of all go out of a line and everything. And yeah, it's just not... It's not in tip-top shape at the moment, but it still works, you know, you can't complain. Toolmech is a Toolmech at the end of the day, as long as it spins. So yeah, and then up on here, got some jigs. I've got the stone grader that you use to change the grit on the Toolmech, some paste for my leather strop, some Lie-Nielsen honing guide jaw, Lie-Nielsen honing guide, a screwdriver for the honing guide, and my protrusion stop with reference spelt wrong on it. Not sure what I was thinking that day. Yeah, oh, and fun fact, these brackets, they are dovetailed. You can't see it obviously because it's against the wall, but yes, those are dovetailed in place. Window leads to someone's garden. I've got the Bosch GCM 12 GDL, which is their glide miter saw. It is an absolutely beautiful miter saw to use. It is so smooth, so accurate. I mean, I've been using it in the Okey Pokey series recently where I'm making a pinboard, and yeah, I mean, I just cannot fault this thing. It is working so nicely. So yeah, if you haven't seen that series, be sure to look at that. Beneath it, it's actually stored on a old router table that we used to have at Rycottwood. So the router would go in this top section, and then I can't remember what was going in the bottom section, but well, I haven't got a router, so it is converted into a miter saw stand for now. So I tend to store my random bits in there. So I've got sandpaper screws, and then I've got glues and finishes in the lower section. So I've got that closed. One of the handles is broken, which is really annoying, and it spins as well. Yeah, working my way around. These are the pallets from the machines that I've just assembled. So when it comes to moving from this workshop at some point, at least I have a way of moving them. And then we've got the first light here, which lights my left-hand side of my face, and then we have got the bandsaw. So this is an Axminster Trade SBW 4300. I've been eyeing this thing up for ages in the store and finally got my hands on one of them. So I'll be doing a video on how to set this up to get a really nice cut as well. And I've got that big lump of yew down there as well. So I want to make that into, I don't know, just basically saw it up on there. Use some of Axminster's blades and see how they fare against it. So yeah, that'll be pretty fun. And then I've got my board of things to do. So I've got setup and tour. I'm doing a promo video for Rycottwood tomorrow. I did a new Patreon video actually. So if you haven't seen that, then go and watch that. It's a little bit more upbeat than my last one, I suppose. And yes, I will be doing reviews on the machines at some point, and the base, I have got the parts for it at last. We're only 2 months late. But yeah, that is all sorted, so the base build will be starting soon, if not already. Depends when I release this video, to be honest. So working around from there, that's just an old promotion thing that I used to have. That's the handle for my tool chest. That is an old protein pot that has my rags in it, and that is a water bottle. So working around from there. This is my tool chest, and on that I used to have my sharpening set up on here, but now I've recently changed it because I have my sharpening set up over there now. Now I just leave all my camera stuff on there, so everything is in here looking nice and organised. So I've got microphones, lens caps, lenses, just random stuff, camera body and all that, so that all goes on there, so it's all to hand in my videos. And then water bottle. And now inside these drawers, not a lot of you have seen this, but I've laid it all out with foam, so I'll put a link to this stuff in the description. It's so good for organising your tools, and also at Rycottwood, when people used to borrow my tools, I could easily see what was missing, so it works like a shadow board as well. So yeah, I'll pop a link to that in the description. If you buy it through the link, I will get a little cut as well, so yeah, bear that in mind, help a friend out. So yeah, we've got saws in that one, measuring and marking in this one, and a bit of sandpaper. This one has got nothing in it. This one, work in progress, always has been. I got planes in this lower one, as well as blades and frogs. And then this is the drawer of just rubbish again. Then underneath that I store my Bosch percussion drill, so that's good for drilling into masonry. It's a corded drill and it has got a lot of beans behind it. So in the cabinets, my girlfriend recently rearranged this, so it's kind of looking a little bit prettier now. Bridle joint at the back there, a little bit of veneer, some dovetailed guides, David Barron and Jonathan Katz-Moses. I did a tool duel between them, if you haven't seen that. Link is in the top corner. More veneer, a embroidery that my girlfriend did me. I need to put that on the wall because she keeps having a go at me for not doing so. Oh wait, that's the bridle joint. That must be the lap joint up there. Yeah, bridle joint there, and then some walnut burr veneer at the back, and then this was a wooden plane blade from my video where I tried to plane wood with wood. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. Working down from that, more veneer, cross halving joint and more veneer. And then in these cabinets here, they're locked. I don't think there's anything in that one anyway, but yeah, I can store stuff in there. Beside that, I've got a few things hanging up. I didn't want to do too much because I think it's just quite distracting. So these are nice things that don't fit in my tool chest and other spaces, so I just keep them there for the time being. And then working along, I've got some bandsaw blades which are obviously going to be used on the new bandsaw, which will be good fun. So this one here on the left is going to be my sort of ripping resawing blade. It's a 3/4 inch by 4 TPI. I wanted the 3 TPI, but it was out of stock, so we've gone for 4, and that should still absolutely tear through stuff. And this one here is a premium blade by Axminster, and it's got a variable pitch on it. I think it's 6 to 10 TPI. So you get a really clean cut as well as quite a quick cut from them as well. And I saw results from them on a recent demo, and oh my lord, it's like a plain surface at the end of it. It's insane. So yeah, I'll be doing a video on that. In terms of the shelves, so I've got a award here. It's kind of me just sort of bragging a bit, but when I made this workbench in the 3rd year of uni, I got an award for it. Or it was the Krenov cabinet. I'm not entirely sure what one it was for, or if it was for both, but yeah, that is an award from the Furniture Makers Company, which was really good fun. I've only worked for 5 years at Rycote Wood to try and get it. Some nice ambient lighting. So I wanted to make this set look as nice as possible behind me, like I say, without being distracting. So I thought nice lighting, minimal decoration would look pretty good. And I also have a remote here that I can use to change the colour of the lighting. So if I want red to be a little bit more saucy, or even better, if I want, wait, it's not that one. Which one is it? Is it auto? Yes, look. I could have a disco going if I wanted. How distracting would that be? But anyway, I like purple. I think that looks good against the yellow background of the OSB. So working along, Faithfull T18 drill, 2 plants which are fake. So that's good. Don't have to look after them at all because I can't even look after myself, so let alone 2 plants. Some Marley speakers which look really cool on this backdrop. So it's got a walnut veneer on them. They got a nice bit of bass to them. Some books up here which I recommended in a past video. A white card just in case the white balance goes terrible on my videos. This was a little box that I made a few years ago. I basically made it in a day, so it's kind of bodged together in a way, but it's all Bubinga. These are dovetailed on the corners, as you can probably see. I don't know if it's focusing or not. And then this little skirt round the bottom as well in African blackwood, that is also dovetailed. I'll macro lens that so you can actually see it, but those were a royal pain to cut. So then when you pop the lid on there, they kind of all locate in place. Oh, and that top horizontal round there is also dovetailed in place as well. And then on the lid of it, it's black palm end grain. So the wood fibers are actually going vertically there, and it just looks so cool. So I want to do a video on making something similar to this. There's a box maker that I really like called Philip Weber, and his stuff is just incredible. I'll put a link to his website in the description. I have no idea how he makes some of the boxes that he does, but I want to try and do one in the style of him. Don't want to take credit for it, obviously, it is in the style of him. So that'll be a fun old challenge. Mini sustainer, which we got from a Faithfull rep who came into work. Fits business cards really well, so yeah, keep that up there because I have nowhere else to put it. Mallet, because I don't have room in my tool chest. A jar of clamps. Yeah, this is a saw from a customer who comes into Axminster sometimes, who goes under the name Greyhound Toolworks. It is so nice. The handle on it is actually really thin. I don't know if you can see the profile on that, but if I get my Veritas one out as a reference point, hopefully you'll be able to see the difference on them. So if you look at them, you see that the handle on the Greyhound one is kind of slimmer, but in the actual profile of it, it actually doesn't look like a lot on camera, but when you pick it up, it's just such a nice fit in your hand. It's just, it feels petite. You can't really feel it's there, and it just nests in there so nicely. So that's Greyhound Toolworks. Definitely have a look at his Instagram, because it is, yeah, it's just really nice. He's got quite a cool style with some of his saws as well. So that's just a little dovetailed box that I never finished, so it acts as a good stand for the saw. This is the joint practice frame video series that I did. So if you want to know how to cut halving joints and lap joints and bridle joints and through mortise and tenon joints all in a sort of frame project, that'd be the one to watch. In this cabinet, through dovetail, bit of cocobolo, some walnut at the back. Let's open this up so you haven't got as much glare. Through mortise and tenon, which I filmed recently, some smoked eucalyptus veneer at the back there. My first ever dovetail, which I like to keep as a sort of memoir, I suppose. It's ropey as hell. But yeah, it's good to see where the progression has come from that to that. A carbon fibre box that I never actually finished because I wanted to polish the insides because it was all like grimy and stuff on there, but I don't actually have a polisher, so hopefully at some point I'll be doing that. It's all lipped with ebony as well. Like, this is meant to be the lid for it. All fully lipped, ready to go, just needed a bit of cleaning up and I never got around to doing it. More veneer, some quilted maple at the back there, which is lovely. I used some of that for the lid on a watch box for my dad a few years ago. He loved it. Dovetail housing joints and the standard mortise and tenon joints here, smoked eucalyptus veneer behind, and what I think is oak burr on the bottom there as well. Got myself a fancy bin as well, just because. And there is some lacewood veneer that I bought a few years ago. Complete impulse buy from eBay. Still have it. No use for it, but I've got it. Oh, and there's also some curly eucalyptus in there as well, which you can't really see, but it's that dark bit there. And then I've got the Moxon vise down here as well, should I ever need to use it, but I don't, because my workbench is just beautiful as it is. So behind my workbench to the left, when you're looking at me, that's all of my plywood and, well, sheet storage, as well as a Okey Pokey, which I'm working on. That's like the prototype, so just to check the design actually works. It's going really slowly at the moment because I'm back and forth between Rycote Wood and here, trying to get the thing done, but now I have machines, it should be a lot easier. Clamp storage, so these are all parallel jaw clamps from Axminster. Now obviously they're models off the Bessie parallel jaw clamps, but these ones, which are quite cool, they have cranked handles on them, so you really can wrench them around a bit. So I've got a few different lengths for those, and they are working just lovely. They don't cost as much as Bessie's either, so yeah, really nice clamps there. Broom, dustpan, and planer thicknesser. So this is just to the left hand side of my workbench, as you probably guessed from this video. So this is the AT129PT, I think, something like that. So as I said earlier, this has the spiral cutter in it, the helical cutter, and I will be doing a proper review and a proper tour of it at some point in the future, because it is an absolutely beautiful machine. Another light with a nice diffuser on it, so it makes me look kind of pretty on the set. Obviously never going to happen. Oh, and I obviously hang a blanket up over a window there because that looks straight through to the main area, and I don't like people watching me when I film. I hang that up so I don't get distracted. And then here we have like a bodged together shell. Oh, I should probably move that. That's my porridge from this morning. Ignore that bit. So these are tools that I've just borrowed from Rycote Wood to film some videos. Some PPE, and then some of my camera stuff, rechargeable batteries and all that. Some tea lights for some tea lights that I will make at some point in the future. That's a box of chisels from one of my contacts at Bosch, who asked a colleague at Axminster to sharpen the chisels, and then he palmed them off to me, but I still haven't got around to doing them because I'm still waiting on that tool mech to be repaired. They need to be reground, and I can't be asked to do it on my diamond stone, so I'm just going to wait until I actually get around to repairing the tool mech in order to sharpen that. Dust mask is in there, as well as filters at the back. Porridge, more rags, I think, in an old protein pot. They're actually very good for storage, and a flask. God knows when I washed that out last. Box of screws. I don't know why I'm showing you this. This really isn't fun, this shelf. Moving blankets, and that is pretty much it, to be honest. So overall, we have come through the workshop. You've got the wood storage, sharpening station, and everything going around here. Give it a nice tidy, and then this is what you see. Voila. So yeah, the only thing you don't see is the little sign above it here. Yeah, you know, I thought it'd be just, it's just quite a nice welcome. As you come into the workshop, you're just like, oh yeah, oh no, okay, best leave. So yeah, I've got that there, and then if you're looking at it from my angle, coming through here, This is what I see. So it's so much nicer to my old workshop that was just dark and there wasn't a lot in there. This has just got a lot of light in it. It's a lot more homely and yeah, it's just good. Oh, and I put myself a little reminder up on there as well, just to make sure I don't do that, because I tend to do that in my videos, as I've done in this one as well. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a pretty fun day, to be honest. It's just going to be nice to actually get going with some projects rather than have to travel to Rykerwood to use their machines. There is machines here at Silver, but I don't like using them because you have to pay to use them. It's a very minimal amount, but every time I go into the machine shop, I'm conscious that I'm paying for it, and then as a result I rush what I'm doing. The quality doesn't come out very well. It's just a stupid anxiety I have with it. So got my own machines. Like, this is how stupid it is. I'd rather spend thousands of pounds on a planer thicknesser and a bandsaw than I would to spend like a couple of quid going to use machines across there. I have no idea what is going on up here, but that is how I am, no idea. So yeah, we'll be able to get started with some projects. I've got a few things lined up which would be good fun. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you then.